Okay, I'm coming back for the second time after the opening ceremony. Once again, good morning, everyone. Uh, Let me be sincere to you. It's a privilege to be part of this great training because it's a training that will reshuffle and restructure your thinking towards utilizing the available waste you generate every day in your own home or in your own office towards turning it to something crucial that will help your life economically and other factors. So for the from biological sciences department, one of my research areas is combating waste 12, which some of my MSc students are part of this great training. Some already have already presented their own dissertation at the internal level, waiting for the external, while one of them have already graduated. So first of all, we need to know what is waste. Basically, the waste are divided into two. We have the organic waste and we have the inorganic waste. The remains of the food you left and also discard in your home is an organic waste. The polythene bag after you take the water is an inorganic waste. So waste is a rubbish, trash, garbage, or junk is any unwanted or undesired material is considered as what? As a waste. So any substance or object which the producer or the person in possession of it discard or intend of or is required to discard. Anything you intend to discard, you don't want it anymore, is considered also as a waste. So waste can exist as solid waste, liquid waste, gas, and waste heat. For the solid waste, the one we see like the organic waste, the remains of the food, for example, the orange field, the banana fields, the rice husk, the groundnut husk, they are considered as what? As a solid waste. And we also have the liquid waste. Yeah, we have also the liquid waste that also contaminate our water sources. And we have the gas waste that also change the atmosphere of our environment, like the gases released by our motorcycle, by our cars, by the engines and so on and so forth. And they also lead to the production of waste heat that also leads to global warming and something like that. So it's very important to recycle some of the waste we generate every day because it's a key concept of modern waste management. That is to recycle the available waste to something very crucial, then the third component of the waste hierarchy. So it's very important to turn it to something crucial. So recycling waste, there are some waste that we generate that are recyclable, that you can recycle them, but there are some ways that you cannot recycle them. For example, the gas waste, you cannot recycle the gas waste, right? The plastic waste, the metal, the glass, as well as the papers. All these waste we generate every day and they can be recycled within a short period of time. So, and within the waste, some are biodegradable and some are non-biodegradable. What we mean by biodegradable is the ones that biological material, living organism, particularly the microorganism, can act on it and degrade it. So they are called the biodegradable. Biological objects can degrade that particular waste. While for the non-biodegradable, the ones that microorganism, despite their own ability to degrade whatever or many materials, they cannot degrade them. Like in case of the glass, no matter how strong the microorganism, the bacteria, the fungi, the virus cannot degrade such kind of waste. Like the polythene bag, they are also non-biodegradable waste, and they are the most dangerous waste that we need to recycle them in our local society. So the green waste, the food remain, the leaf that our plant species around shed, the food waste after we eat, the remains of the food on our plates, the papers after we use and reuse, we can also change them. The biodegradable plastic, the manure, the cow dung, the sheep dung, the chicken droppings, the sewage that we also generate. Then the slaughterhouse waste, our abattoirs keep on generating wastewater that is very hazardous. So we can also turn that particular slaughterhouse waste into something that can help our life in terms of agriculture, in terms of economy, and also in terms of education. So all these are considered as biodegradable wastes. I don't think there is any of these waste that we don't generate in our houses. We generate such kind of waste almost every day, right? The glasses, maybe our own sons and daughters can easily break our windows, right? Our show glass in our houses for the ladies, right? So we keep generating the waste, and they are what? And they are recyclable. They can be recycled to something very important. So what is a compost? Now we understand what is a waste and also the different types of waste and also the waste that can be converted to something meaningful, the degradable and also the recyclable waste. So what is a compost? Compost is a mixture of decayed organic matter, meaning must be an organic material used to used to fertilize the soil. So this organic matter can be used to fertilize our soil. The soil that is of less nutrient, when we apply them, they will turn to become of high nutrient content and also give a better yield if we farm on it. So we have the food cleavers. Very much, sir. So it's a good news actually. He make a compost bin in his own house. All his waste, generated organic waste, is put in there. So at the end of the day, he's taking it back to his farm. So meaning there is no more waste in his house. It's now a wealth. So food cleavers, green waste, they can be what converted to become compost. So to compost, you will need the following items. You need to have the raw materials, that's the actual waste you have, then the green material, the leaf, the plant material, plant part and other, then you need small amount of water. These are the three major raw materials you need to convert whatever waste into something meaningful. For nitrogen, that is why you need the what? The brown material. These brown materials include the dead leaves, the shredded, the paper, the newspaper, the branches, and the wood chips. All these are what? Are brown material after they have been what? Dried up. Then the green material for carbon, for that is for energy source. Every microorganism needs energy source, and this carbon source is what? Is a major material or substrate that gives energy to the that provides energy in the food, and then the microorganism takes in. Glass clippers, the fruits, the beverages, the beverages scraps, and then the coffee and the tea ground. All these are called the shade, not yet turned to brown. Green one, so it's considered as what? As green material, while the brown one is the one that's fully dried up. Then you need water, all as what? As waste. Even the water that you're going to apply, you can look for a waste water and use it. So you convert the wastewater into something meaningful. For example, the wastewater from the fish pond, our drainages, the wastewater from the slaughterhouse, the abattoir, you can use it together with all this material in your compost bin or in what we call the biodigester, and then you turn it into something meaningful. So what is not to compost? The metals, the glass, the coal, the insect-ridden plant, and all these materials cannot be what? The pesticide, with the pesticide or any other product that do not easily break down, so cannot be what? Cannot be turned to compost. So method for compost for collecting food scrap in the kitchen. So now we are going back to our homes now. Going back to the kitchen. Food scrap from your home can be collected easily in a kitchen pan, bowls, or a small bags, right? This allow you to easily transport the food scrap to your what? To your compost bin. You have your bin, then you keep on putting the whatever kitchen waste into it, right? For certain number of days, then you transfer it to the available bin that you have. So you can just take it and then you continue to use. So now we know what is the waste and how to do the composting. So what is the compost? So now we're going into the real composting process. So composting, it is a natural process. It's a natural process of rotting or decomposition of biodegradable organic matter. We said biocompost or compost is what? Is organic matter. Is from organic material by microorganisms under a controlled environment. So microorganisms are crucial material or factor in every composting process because they are the one responsible for utilizing the materials and then convert it or compost it. Compost is very cheap and easy to make and is very effective material that can be added to soil to improve soil and crop quality. So it's very crucial for agriculture, for waste management, and also for environmental sustainability. During composting, microorganisms break down organic matter into carbon dioxide. They produce carbon dioxide. That's why sometimes if you are doing composting, you see that the air, the environment around is changing, right? Because of the activity of the microorganism. In case of the biodigester that we use, which is strictly anaerobic, we don't add, or it's advisable not to add only the waste. You need to add a small amount of the chicken dung, the chicken droppings, cow dung or sheep dung. This facilitates the process because there are quite a number of organisms, microorganisms that are in the chicken or in the chicken dropping or in the cow dung or the sheep dung that facilitates the process of the composting, right? They are called the methanogens because they produce a gas. Yeah, so definitely this compost, the microorganism will continue to give out the carbon dioxide, right? So this carbon dioxide will be utilized later by our plant species when you apply it to the soil. Then it will also come with water because you also add water into the composting, into the compost bin. As we discussed before, right? You need the brown, you need the green, and you need the water, right? So the water will also be part of the compost. Then the nitrogen source is either as nitrate or as what? As nitrite. So then you also have the sulfate oxide and also heat. Because this environment, the available force for oxygen is not enough for the environment inside to be cold. It will be what? Hot a little bit. Considering the fact that microorganisms are doing their activities, like us, that we give out carbon dioxide, we take in oxygen, they do the same, right? So definitely the environment will be hot. It's like we are maybe asking people, 1,000 people to fill this particular hole. Definitely it will be what? A little bit hot. So the same thing with microorganism and composting process. So definitely the heat will be enough available there. So material for composting, the food waste, the drink industry waste, the available wastewater that you can have. The paper, the car, the timber, other biodegradable waste, household waste, organic sludge, including sewage, as well as agriculture. All these can be used as material for composting process. So waste from meats, dairy products, eggs should not be used in household composting. This meat very difficult to degrade. It takes time to degrade. That's why at later age we are discouraged to eat the red meat, right? Because of its nature, it takes time to what? To degrade, to digest in our system. So instead of giving us the good, it turns to what? To something bad. So dairy products like the bama, the mayonnaise, the oil shouldn't be part of your composting materials. Am I making sense? Right? Then the eggs, the whole egg, not the shell. The shell is a very good source of nitrogen. The eggshell. Try. Just get the eggshell, maybe break it into pieces, put it into a container, apply water, then allow it to stay, close it, allow it to stay for some days. Then you apply it to your garden plants. You will see the effect of it. It's very good source of nitrogen. It will give you better yield. So it's not a waste anymore. That's why our Misha is now. If they know their own ways, they will become rich soon. With the eggshells. So they attract unwanted vermin, that is the worms, right? The insects. They do not appropriately decompose in the time required. Instead of you to get your compost after 40 days, this one will let what? Maybe more months or something like that, right? So that is the problem of including the meat, dairy products, and then the egg in the composting during the composting process. So main composting agents, that's the composers, microorganisms, right? Classification according to the oxygen consuming. They are classified based on how they consume the oxygen. Some need high oxygen, some need less oxygen, some do not even need oxygen to carry out their daily activities. So we have the aerobic and we have the anaerobic. That's why for this training, we end up coming with two different types of uh, composting bin. So we have the aerobic one and we also have the anaerobic one. So the anaerobic one will be strictly without oxygen, while the aerobic one with the oxygen, right? So let's classify them. We have A, the bacteria. The bacteria are basically divided into the heterotrophic, autotrophic, aerobic, and anaerobic bacteria, right? Then strongly ability of growth in moist quantity. They normally grow faster when the environment is a little bit moist, large spectrum of activity, and also active in a large range of pH value. They don't. Okay, so they adjust the pH and also they live in diverse pH, right? So difficult to adapt in what? In acidic environment. Difficult to adapt in what? In acidic environments. Sorry. Okay. So these are the microorganisms. They are divided into four, as we earlier mentioned. So apart from the bacteria, we also have the fungi, which is another group of microorganisms that also play a crucial role in composting process. They ferment, and we have also the yeast as a fungi. The yeast that we add into our flour to make bread and whatever for baking process is actually from this particular fungi, yeasts, right? That normally ferment our food. So they have the ability to live in a medium with low moisture content. They are competitors of heterotrophic bacteria. They compete with the heterotrophic bacteria. They are active in a large range of 2 to 9 pH. So regardless of the pH, from acidic to basic, they can still live, right? Low requirement considering the nitrogen content. So we have also another set of microorganisms which are called the what? Actinomycetes. They are aerobic and they are thermophilic in nature, meaning they live in oxygen available environment and they also live in a high temperature environment. So they are thermophile in nature. That's why they are called thermophilic. Unlike me and you that find it difficult to live in an environment that is above 40 degrees Celsius. So this one, they can live in up to 100 degrees Celsius temperature environment. So they are assimilated by bacteria as well as the fungi. They use organic nitrogen. The nitrogen coming from our organic waste. Because most of our organic waste come with what? With nitrogen, with certain amount of nitrogen. Because of the presence of what? Protein in their own system. This protein comes with what? With nitrogen. Back to the molecular biology student, you should know all that, right? Well, sometimes going back to the biology classes, every organism contains protein, and this protein has two major components: the nitrogen group as well as the carboxyl group, right? So this what assimilated by bacteria and use nitrogen, organic nitrogen. Because nitrogen are basically divided into two. We have the organic nitrogen and we have the inorganic nitrogen. The organic nitrogen is coming from the organic material, while the inorganic nitrogen is normally the one that is coming from as a result of sunlight and other factors, other activities from the sky. So the active in neutral and slightly alkaline medium, unlike the fungi that live and stay active between basic to between acidic to the basic pH. While in case of this, they are strictly or slightly alkaline medium microorganisms. They live in what? In basic environment. Acts in the ending phase of the composting process. So their own activity comes at the end of the process. That's why sometimes at the beginning of the composting process, you don't see any fungal growth. But towards the end of the process, you will begin to see the fungal growth. Right? So other agents, we have the duckweed, which are the algae, the cyanophytes, we have the protozoans, then we have by the microorganisms during the composting process. Are we together? Can I proceed? Okay, go ahead. Ganzakuga. Ganzakuga. Amma kusan Ganzakuga ma they are divided into two. We have the micro and we have the macro. Macro shi ne zaka iya ganin shi da ido, wannan Ganzakuga. Akwai wanda suna cikin ruwa, sai ka yi amfani da microscope ne zaka dinga ganin su suna yawo. They are living organisms. They are. And in fact, if we are to go to the, or to change the topic of discussion to to biotechnology, these micro algae, they are now being used to produce biodiesel. Yes, they are microorganisms. And sometimes we misunderstand the difference between the most plants. When the suke growing a jikin gidanmu idan kamar misali ka je plateau Jos daga koren abu yana girma a jikin nan wayan sun ba wai Ganzakuga bane muna kiran okay, they are also plant species that are like the, but they are microbes in nature, right? Protozoans, they are animals, right? Like the Paramecium, you remember your biology, the Euglena, the Amoeba, right? And other, some of them, they are called the what? The protozoans, right? So we have the enzyme. This enzyme is actually produced by the microorganisms. So the stages of the composting process, we have the first stage, active stage, and the thermophilic bacteria or thermophilic microorganisms are responsible for doing this first stage, right? When you add them into the compost bin, the environment is a little bit hot, so they must adapt, then they start the activity. They need to adapt, then the process should continue. Performed by aerobic microorganisms. One, decomposition of the organic matter, that's the organic acid, amino acid, saccharides of the microorganism to start the process. Consuming of oxygen and releasing the carbon dioxide because they are aerobic in nature. They must take oxygen and give out the what? The carbon dioxide and also energy or produce energy, right? Because during the process, the energy must be what? Available, ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That's what gives all the energy. So high rate of composting process during this particular stage The temperature normally ranges between 55 to 60 degrees Celsius. It actually depends on your composting bin and also the availability of hose that provides the oxygen into the compost bin, and also you get the first stage, right? And that's called the active stage, where the microorganism adapt to that environment and begin the what? The process. Then we have the second stage, which is called the cooling stage. All these are mechanisms that are taking place, that are going on in our compost bin. It's not something that you expect to see it happening, right? It's a mechanism. So the composting of more complicated organic matter, at this stage, the more complicated organic matter that cannot be degraded or cannot be composed at the very first stage, they will begin to what? To decompose, to degrade. Do you get the point? They'll begin to compost, right? Most of the microorganisms die from lack of what? Food. Because they have already utilized during the first stage, that's the active stage, right? So they have utilized all the available food there. So now they will left with no food. Then the next, they will what? Automatically die. Not all of them. Low rate of the process. So the process is not that active compared to the first stage, because most of the organisms that are responsible for composting, they are already dead now. Then the temperature will go down because of what? Low activity of microorganisms. No more producing carbon dioxide. So the environment automatically, the temperature will automatically go down. Am I making sense? Right? So the duration is for just few weeks. So this stage is what we call the cooling stage, where the environment will be, the temperature will begin to go down, will begin to cool the environment. Right? That is where the actual composting, our own organic matter, will turn to become a black compost. So it takes very few weeks. So waste appear before and after composting process. So this picture is just the picture showing how the waste are being turned from the beginning, then after the composting process. So the third stage, which is called the maturation stage. So the temperature is required to the ambient level. The temperature will turn to the what? To the room temperature at this particular stage. A completely disinfected high quality of compost is formed as a result. As a result of this process or this stage, definitely our compost is what? Is ready, right? So the disinfected high quality compost is what is formed. So that is how the compost will look like after this particular stage. That's the maturation stage. So before I continue, we received the presence of the representative of the Commissioner for Agriculture, Gombe State. So you are highly welcome, sir, and together with your staff. So let me hand over to the convener to welcome them officially and then give them the chance to advise us.
Okay, good afternoon, or good morning, and you are highly welcome to this event. So basically, this event is about turning waste into wealth, and our focus is on composting um, home wastes from our kitchen and maybe it could be from the market, and then to turn them into compost, which will be used for gardening, whether at home or in a large scale. Um, we highly encourage your ministries to um, help in, I don't know how we can collaborate, but I think it's highly important to collaborate with the government to see how we can scale these important skills to our communities. There are a lot of states in the United States that they made it compulsory for homes to compost their waste, not just to throw away the waste. So we don't know how the ministry can come in, but we highly recommend that we come together to discuss way out because it is essential. Instead of throwing the wealth into waste, let us turn the waste into wealth. Thank you very much. We will now call you to give us a remark.
Good morning, all. Please let me stand on the already existing protocol. Actually, the program is such a magnificent program. Definitely, there are a lot of things to benefit from this waste conversion to either manure or home, practice like this smart agriculture that newly being introduced to the world, especially our young farmers, women at home, whereby they farm things like these potatoes inside bags. This thing used to serve as a fertilizer today. The waste we also convert them to energy recently. I know Ministry of Environment, they are into this program. This thing you people are now discussing. They are into this program whereby they go to homes, build these latrines, modern latrines to them, whereby they will have chambers. And they pack them, they go and treat the waste. After treating them, then they convert them to either manure or energy. So, any of it. Actually, the Ministry of Agri now, the only thing we can come into it is to give you an expert advice for those that have been trained on that, so that they can show you how they can, collaborate with them in this smart agriculture. But for converting them into energy and maybe fertilizer also, I can say manure. That is what we normally know. So it's the Ministry of Environment, they are into that. Because I attended a workshop in which I think you said Netherlands, one of these partners, they came in and start giving us a lot of ideas how we are going to convert them, and it's going to be a source of income to local farmers. So that's the only thing we can see. If at least you feel in the Ministry of Agri can, come in, we are able to collaborate with you guys so that we can at least give you the expertise, advice on that. So that's the only thing we can say for now. The Honorable Commissioner asked me to tell you guys that he's very much sorry for not attending because they are involved in a lot of engagement with the state government. So they are there attending a lot of activities. I think they are all out of state to other campus. So it's just sorry for what he said. He sent me and some of the key directors, one of the statistics ministry, this young lady. That is why we are here. In case if you people have anything, they will give you a tip on how to go about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for the The Ministry of Environment, they were here earlier, and the permanent secretary mentioned to me that we are going to have a meeting after the event, maybe later in the evening, to discuss intensively on the way out. We appreciate your presence, and thank you very much.
Thank you, the convener and the representative of the Commissioner for Agriculture of the state. Actually, this program is timely one and wishes to change our mindset towards utilizing our waste to something good. So let's continue. We talked about the maturation, that's the last stage that leads to the development of our nitrogen, phosphorus, as well as potassium-rich compost. So composting techniques, if you take it from the techniques aspect and equipment for the composting, first of all, you need to have organic matter, and basically you need three raw materials: the brown, the green, as well as the water, right? These are the three materials, raw materials you need for the process. Then when you apply it, then sometimes if the inlet of your beam is not that big, so it's advisably to what? To grind your waste before you put it into the waste. For example, if you are going to use the anaerobic digester, so you need to grind so that you can put it through the what? The inlets. But if it is the aerobic one, you can just open like this one. You can just open it and then continue to put your waste because it's aerobic in nature. But for the anaerobic, you cannot be opening and closing. So the best thing is to seal if you are using such kind of material, locally fabricated. Using local material, fabricate to become something that can be used to make a compost. So you can only have the inlet, then you have the outlet. Very much. Yeah. So for example, this one you have the inlets, and this is the outlet where you will take out your compost, right? The outlets. So this one, after you put your compost, then you close it back. No source of oxygen. Maybe you see something here as well. What is this? Is it? I know this is inlet. This is outlet. So this is what? For oxygen to come out or to go in. So but we say anaerobic. We don't need this one. Okay. You say? Decoration. Okay, someone say decoration. The waste. Okay, how? How? Yeah. Whether it is open or closed, what I want to know from you is what is the function of this? To put water inside. Okay, one agreed, partially. So meaning I cannot put water through here? After grinding, I can put through here, right? My waste. Is it possible to put the water through here as well? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, right? Yeah. So I want to know what's the function of this before coming to this. Into? But it is anaerobic digester. It is anaerobic digester. The air, okay? Open, then the air will come out. Okay? Yeah. Let me partially agree with you. Yeah. But you are like 40 to 50% correct. Can I? Can I? For cooling. No. So I will not give you the chance. There is problem. The convener. Okay. Actually, for the anaerobic digester, it does two things. Apart from producing your waste, your compost, it will also lead to production of what we call the biogas. That's why I told you at the beginning, if you are using anaerobics, to some extent you need to add a promoter. That is small amount of chicken droppings, small amount of cow dung, or small amount of sheep dung that comes with microorganism called the methanogens, right? That facilitate the process, right? So when you add the waste, maybe 5% out of the 100% is your cow dung, sheep dung, or chicken droppings. It will facilitate the process and lead to the production of what we call the biogas. This one, compost for agriculture and also biogas for your cooking, energy source. You know, biologists are the one controlling the world. Yeah, it's 2 in 1 actually. It's 2 in 1. Yeah. We have one lecturer in the Faculty of Science from Physics Department. He has something like this in his house. He's putting his waste every time, and apart from the compost, he's also getting certain amount of gas. Even though the gas is not that strong, if you want to get it strong, you need to compress it so that it will help you utilize it judiciously. So it's a two process something that you can generate a lot from it. So this biogas, we encourage the use of biogas because it doesn't cause global warming. Unlike the gas, the renewable gas that we use, that's very hot. So the biogas is not that hot, can cook for you, and also has no much effect compared to has zero effect to some extent compared to the normal one. So that's why we encourage the use of what? The anaerobic digester for coming up with the compost as well as the biogas, right? So after grinding, if you are using something like this, or you are using the aerobic one that has small inlets, so you can grind your sample, then you proceed with the first stage, that is the active composting stage, where your microorganism will adapt and begin the activity, then utilize the what? All the nutrients there. That's the first stage. Then after that, the second stage, which is the cooling stage, where many of the microorganisms will automatically die because of lack of nutrients in the material or in the beam. Then the temperature will begin to go down. Then finally, the maturation stage, where your own compost is ready. Then separation, then packaging. Do you know that you can generate as much from the compost? Because after you package it, you can sell it out. The waste you generate, you turn it to wealth, right? You look for nursery around you and inform them that you are making compost in your own home, and it is a very good biofertilizer. So if they are interested, you are willing to sell it out to them. It's very important. You can even go ahead and check the content of that particular compost in terms of the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, that's the NPK, and other nutritional components of the compost, so that you can put it at on your sticker if you are having a company like Malam Usman that is having the waste management company. So the waste you collect from our house, you can turn it to compost, and you also sell out the compost. So you are getting, double income. One from the compost and also one from the from the people patronizing your company, right? So that's it. Then this for the separation, if there are some parts of it that did not actually degrade fully, you can just separate them from the degraded one so that you can put them back for another round. So types of composting, we have different types of composting. There are some that we will discuss in our subsequent lectures, probably tomorrow. So according to the method of aerobic composting, because this is our big theme is aerobic in nature. So we have the active or hot composting and we have the passive or the cold composting. For the active one, allow aerobic microorganisms to what? To thrive, then kill most pathogen and seeds. So as well, to some extent, we apply some chemicals to kill some microorganisms that are what? Unwanted in the process. Aerobic bacteria produce less odor and fewer destructive greenhouse gases than the aerobic ones. In case of the anaerobic digester, right? So the organisms there, they produce bad odor and they are what? Highly destructive. Okay? So in case of the anaerobic digester, we have something apart from the inlet, the gas outlet, and the waste or the compost outlet. We have something. What is this? What? Yeah, mixer, I agree. Or agitator, right? So this one, you can just get your time, then you just mix. When you mix, like you are activating the what? The microorganisms to act on your what? On your waste. So in case of this, to some extent, the waste should be watered enough. Unlike the aerobic one that you can just apply small amount of water. In case of this, sometimes it's 50-50. It should be a little bit wet. So after the process, then you take it out, then you allow it to dry. Okay, no problem. Excuse me, please. You have the from 10 to 22, more than double, right? So that's it. And free of charge. Instead of going to buy chemical fertilizer that affects our soil, so we end up having what? Free fertilizer and also high yield at the end of the process. So the temperature reaches above 50 degrees Celsius. So for the passive or the cold composting, is more slowly than the hot one. It's actually slowly. Many pathogens and seeds dormant in the piles. Done in most domestic garden, temperatures never reach above 30 degrees Celsius. That's more or less the kind of the compost beam he is using in his what in his house, because the amount of oxygen going there is quite much, right? So that's why it is called the cooling. So according to the technical performance, the types of composting are also divided into enclosed and in-enclosed piles, right? For the enclosed is home container like this one, right? Then industrial in vessels composting. I was opportune to attend a workshop training by TETFON in Abuja, and this um, agency, I will call it agency because I don't know how to put it. They are non-governmental agency that are training our academic staff on innovation. Do you know that this place, they don't buy gas for their cooking? It is the waste from their food remains from around their environment. It is the one that they are collecting and putting it in their own compost bin. Well constructed compost bin from Austria, from Israel. This compost bin has the inlet, has the outlet, and also like this one, and also has the gas outlets. And from there, they are getting the gas for their cooking. They are own workers. They don't go out for lunch. It is the agency that cook for all their staff to come and collect free of charge. And it is the gas from their bin they are cooking the food. So instead of wasting or maybe contaminating our environment, they end up turning it into something very important. So in exposed file, industrial window composting. So the one I just gave you an example is one of it. So everything in life has its own advantages and has its own disadvantages. We are from banking and finance. It has its own advantages and it has its own disadvantages, right? You can only count. But me, I can, understand that there is problem for the organisms. So the advantages of the composting process can be more closely controlled. If you have something like this, you can control it 100%, right? You know the time you are coming to open and add your waste. You know the time you are You're going to collect your compost, right? So it is under control. The effect of weather are diminished. It's regardless of the weather. Rainy season, dry season, hot season, cold season, harmattan season, whatever season, you can use your compost bin to convert your waste into compost. So the weather is not an effect on the compost. Less bulking agents may be required. You don't need to engage so many people. There are not so much work. The waste that you put in your dustbin, just open your compost bin and put it. That's all. More consistent, right? Experience from the deputy librarian is what? Is excellent. Less manpower is required to operate the system, and staff is less exposed to the composting material. Less manpower. You alone can control this, right? And with this material that we fabricate, it will take 20 years. Right? One abin ne akwai yana gidan mutum ba yau na sani for almost 10 years. Ada zai kule ba. Right? So that's the advantage of maybe utilizing your local available material to make something important. So less manpower is required. You alone can make your own compost, right? And as much as possible is required. So processed air can be more easily collected for the treatment to reduce odor emission. So processed air can be more easily collected. Less land area is required. How many feet do you need to put this? Just few feet, right? And you end up having a lot of compost. After every 40 days, 50 days, 30 days, something like that, you get your compost. You just make a bag, put it. Then you put another waste. Allow it to compost. You put it in the bag. Before the rainy season, you have like 100 bags. Take it to your hectares of farmland and you see the magic, right? So the process can be easily collected. So less land area is required. Public acceptance of the facility may be better. Now, whether you agree or not, I don't agree. People have accepted the fact that there is no waste, right? Even the shara you are putting, you are going out to put at the refuse dump or whatever place, people are now coming to take it. Shara and the other one, right? Na san wani vigilante office ya aka yi ko mai anguwa ne mai zo sayar. You get the free. An tara shara ba san nawa yi ba ko wajen da zuba shara ne. A da yana da dai ko aka zo aka ga ana kwashewa aka yi ai uba ya sayar. You get the point. So yanzu, as far as we are concerned, there is nothing like waste. Nothing like waste, right? Okay. Sometimes we even mix with the non-biodegradable one, like the polythene bag or something like that. So the public acceptance of the facility may be what? May be better. So what are the disadvantages of the composting? In-vessel composting is generally more costly than other composting methods. That's the in-vessel composting process. More equipment maintenance is necessary. But in case of this equipment that we fabricate, the maintenance is not that much, right? Area as well as in the active composting mass. So these are the three major disadvantages of the composting process. So industrial window composting, there is a typing error. There are benefits and there are disadvantages. Industrial, Mala Usman, we are coming back to you now because you have a waste management company, right? So that is your own. So compost reduce the amount of waste to the what? To dispose. That is what they are doing. They are collecting our waste and also they take it to a particular place, right? So easy to use and easy to operate. Can handle a large volume of what? Material. Their own company can handle a large amount of waste, right? Then less equipment and maintenance needed than other methods. So they only need the vehicle to convey our waste, to convey their stuff, and then take the waste to wherever they want to dispose. So the disadvantage, large amount of land for composting. If they are doing the composting, I don't know, Mala Usman, are you doing the composting or after you take the waste, you just go and throw it? You are not doing the composting. So with this workshop, I suggest you start, right? You pay attention to you. Because now people are buying the what? The rubbish from people. Shara, akwai mani an yebo an zuba an sayar da gaske daga kwari aka yebo da kwari aka tara an sayar kuma an saya kuma na saya ma ni for example. So I have a practical experience. So it may attract scavengers. If you go to this hanyar makabarta around Bajo Garot, wajen da ake zuba sharan nan, you see a lot of scavengers, insect kala-kala, wannan tsutsan, wannan udan da shauransu, they are the scavengers, right? So, but we can find a solution to that, to the scavengers. So that is another disadvantage. It will lead to what? To odor, right? The odor there, it will be a kind of bad odor, maybe produced. Require large adjacent area due to odor as well as the vectors. So that's another disadvantage. Large adjacent area, large area. Rainwater runoff maintenance. If there is water channel around that particular area, it will contaminate. That's another disadvantage. If you are using very big land and there is water channel around, definitely when it comes, it will wash out the waste and take it to the main water body. So it will continue to contaminate our water bodies, right? So instead, most of the aquatic organism there will continue to die because of this waste comes with a lot of contamination, to some extent heavy metals, right? So these heavy metals will be washed into our water bodies and cause problem to our organic, to our aquatic organisms. So compost can become anaerobic under rainy condition. If the condition, it is during the rainy season, continuous raining, instead of aerobic, it will turn to become anaerobic. So most of the aerobic organisms that would now is Q&A, right? And sharing of experience. If you have experience, you are free to share. Let me invite